How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be part 2 of my BDO guide slash overview. I'm going to start with one of the things I did neglect in my first guide, and that is to join a guild as soon as possible. You can wait till after seasons if you like, but I'd say the sooner the better. You get a lot of passive buffs when joining a guild. There's also periodic login events. One just ended, where just being in a guild gives you extra rewards, and they're usually really good rewards. Like I mentioned, one just ended, but I got a pet and some other cool stuff with just being in the guild on top of that. And to join a guild is really easy. Keep an eye on your chat. If I just scroll up here, you're going to see like there's a bunch of different guilds looking to recruit. So keep an eye on your chat to see what guilds are recruiting, and then obviously you have to read them and see what suits you. If you don't speak German, maybe you don't want to just join a German guild. If someone's looking for 650 plus gear score players that are looking to PvP, you know, you're not quite ready for that yet. So get a new player friendly guild, and this is also a big help. It will let you get integrated with their community, and especially if you go into the new player friendly guilds, they can answer a lot of your questions that you may have and help you out doing any kind of weird quests that you get stuck on, which my guild has definitely done for me, and they've been a really big help. Black Crows here on EU have been a very big help to me personally. Okay, so for the next part of the guide, we're going to be going to the Pro Shop and first looking at loyalty items that you want to pick up. Any item that's event and 200 less loyalty as a new player, just pick them all up. At some point, they're probably going to be useful to you. Now, obviously, if you're transferring from one account to another, if there's certain things like life skills you know you're not going to be doing, you'll skip the life skill items on that list. Items that are worth more than 200 loyalties that are an event, you have to ask people whether or not they're worth it. Now, if you're a grinder, I can tell you that paying 1,000 loyalty for 5 loot scrolls is always worth it. If you're a life skiller, paying 1,000 loyalty for 3 Secret Book of Florins is always worth it. So it's something that you're going to have to just be a bit more experienced to realize whether or not these loyalty points are worth the investment. But that being said, non-pay-to-win players. So if you don't want to spend any money on the game, the only thing you're going to be buying is the one-day value pack every 2 weeks. Okay, but if you plan on buying this from the Pro Shop, then you don't pick up this item here. What you would be spending your pros on, which is what I am spending my pros on, is weight limit for your character, for your main grinder, and your main account, your main for PvPer. I start with my grinder first, so once I get 200 weight on this character, I'll get 200 weight on my main character. This will take you a while to do, but that is the main thing I'm spending my loyalty points on. After that, now one of the big goals is going to be the Natives Parchment. This is probably... This is going to take a long time to get. So Natives Parchment is one item that I'm going to be wanting picking up. Now, when needed, Ilion Tears and Crystal Extraction Tools. This is buy when needed situation, not just randomly buy whenever, like, off cooldown. Every now and again, you're going to realize, hey, I need a couple of these. I'm getting low on tears, or I need to extract a crystal for one of my armors or my weapons. That's when these items are useful. But this is just buy when needed kind of situation. Other items for the account that's going to be very useful that I'll be buying. Family inventory slot +1. Family inventory weight limit +1. Picking up those things. Inventory expansion +4. That's another one to pick up there. And the character slot expansion as well. Now, the rest of it is optional. Again, once you know more about the game, you can decide whether or not you want to spend your loyalty points on it. The stacks, I'd say, is never worth. I'd also say it's definitely never worth picking up any of this Capertia stuff. Never pick up any Capertia items. But that's the loyalty store out the way. Okay, so now let's talk about the paid items in the Pro Shop. I'm just going to go over a few important items here and try to get you guys to not fall into any noob traps. And obviously, free-to-play players, skip this part. But come to the Black Spirit rookie / skilled packs here and look for big discounts. So new players definitely want to pick up this value pack that comes with either storage or central market made. More times than not, central market maids are more useful than storage maids, but I actually did end up choosing a storage maid in this section here because I didn't have enough of them at the time. But this is a really good deal. It gives you 10 loot scrolls as well. But the most important item for your account is a campsite. Even if you're a non-play-to-win player, I'd recommend at some point in your gaming journey to pick up this campsite. Think of it as the price for the game. It's very, very important, and you can get it at a discount. So do wait for it to go on discount. If it's at full price, you can get 10-20% off. So there is that to keep in mind. These two items that you've seen me buy here, this is optional. Now, I really wanted to have this Celestial Horn, which allows me to call my horse from anywhere in the map. I just found it a very convenient item on my console account that I just can't play without anymore. So I did get it for my PC account as well. And I couldn't buy, I spent 2 weeks of pre-order on outfits and CM on EU PC. I couldn't get any, so I just ended up caving in and getting the 50% discount item here. But these two are definitely not something I'd recommend for new players just to pick up instantly, but I would recommend Value Pack and the Campsite. Now, next thing, never ever ever pay 1,500 pearls for 30-day Value Pack. Not worth, okay? This one here, I'm not going to buy it because I'm not life skilling on this account. If you are life skilling, if you really want a hedgehog, you buy this Value Pack really for the hedgehog, and you get some other stuff on top as well. But normally, the other one is you never buy Cam Sylvia Blessings or Secret Book of Old Moons for 1,250 pearls and no extra perks. Never ever fall into that noob trap. Come to Traveler's Aid section, and you'll find there's almost always a discount and some extra perks on getting the Cam Sylvia Blessing or the Secret Old Moon book, usually both at the same time. So as you can see here, 2,000 pearls can get you one of each or two of one, depending on how you want to rock it. So you're saving 500 pearls already, but you're also getting 20 loot scrolls and 3 Supreme Old Moon scrolls on top. So it's just much more worth your money than getting the regular ones. So that's one of the big noob traps that most players might fall into. If you for getting your own fairy pack, finding stuff on discount might be useful. We're going to be talking about fairies in just a moment, but that's something to keep an eye on in case you do want to pay to win your fairy. If there's a discount, that's when I'd recommend doing it. But other items, there's not any other super important things other than getting more transaction maids for your account, which can be very useful. But again, don't ever play full price. Just wait for them to come on discount. They come on discount all the time. Right now, they're full price, so it was not a good time to pick them up. And finally, it would be for your weights. And again, only buy weights when it's on discount. Don't buy weight full price, okay? So I actually bought a pack that gave me all of these for like 40% off on my account here earlier, a week or two ago, where the sale was on. So sometimes you'll see sales that will give you like 2 to 4 different weight items for like 30% off. That's when you want to buy weight. Never buy weight for full price. And I'd say weight for a new player is actually kind of important because you're going to need to buy potions when grinding. I haven't picked up, or if you buy all the pay to win weight, you're going to be around 18 to 2200 weight. So I haven't grabbed all of it, but once you get to about 1300 weight, I think that's pretty good for your grinding character to be able to hold a decent amount of potions and get some grinding done as well. But that's the main stuff in the pro shop that's important. Hopefully that helps you out. Alright, so let's continue with that account progress, shall we? So end of the last guide, we pretty much graduated. One of the first big things you're going to be spending money on is getting a Radiant Fairy with Miraculous Cheer 5. Links down below on how to do that. You don't need to pay to win. I got mine without pay to winning. Cost me about 2 billion silver to do so. I did get a little bit carried in RNG, but this is really important for your account. And then the next item that you're going to want to pick up is a decent horse. So come to any major town or city stable keeper, and then you're going to scroll over to the market. Now, it's going to be hard to find, but you're looking for T8 horses with certain skills. As you can see, there's none available here. But it took me a couple of weeks to get mine, but I did get it eventually. But you're looking for a T8 horse with Drift, Sprint, Instant Excel, and S Instant Excel. Just these skills here. It doesn't have to be a Corsair. You just want it to be a nice, fast horse to get you around. It's going to save you a lot of time in your account, and it's not that expensive to pick up. So that's definitely the first 2 items I'd recommend you guys investing your silver into. Okay, so for this next section here, I'm going to be talking about gearing. Biseptimus Prime's got a very good video on gearing from season to end game. Do watch that, but I'm going to give new players some better advice at the beginning here, since I'm also technically a new player myself now, playing my PC account. There's a few things I've picked up from actually playing the game that's really going to help you guys out in terms of knowledge. But he's got a lot of good information in that gearing guide that you should definitely watch, so do check it out. But let's quickly start with the cheap crystal build to get you guys started. Get some EXP crystals in your helmet. Get some Cobelinus crystals in your armor. Get the precision cheap ones, BMCs, in your gloves. Get the cheap crit in your offhand. Get the cheap precision in your main hand. And get the cheap adamantines for your boots. This is a pretty nice, cheap and cheerful crystal setup that will get you started. But this is the most important one now. This is for PC players exclusively until it's available on console. When completing the new quest in the new region, you get this. You get extra damage against monsters artifact, and you get extra damage monster reduction artifact. Doesn't matter where you put your Lightstones into, but you want to get 1 combat, 1 skill Lightstone, and 2 fitted Lightstones. This will cost you 20 to 30 million silver, so it's very, very cheap, and it gives you 20 monster damage reduction, which is huge. This pretty much can get you access to endgame grind spots already. Places like Star's End easily, places like Elvia, a lot of the Elvia regions, even Sakraya, once we get a tiny little bit more gear. We need a bit more AP to access these areas, but in terms of tankability, we're almost there. We're literally almost there. And then you get some other little cool stats on top. There are better light crystals you can use, Lightstones you can use in these slots. However, it will cost you billions to get the best in slot ones. This costs you millions. So obviously for this point in the game, this is a lot more beneficial to you. So with this gear, let's talk about where you're going to grind, and then we're going to talk about what you're going to upgrade in just a moment. Okay, so at that 246 AP with like 307 DP, where do you want to grind? Well, that's going to be in Valencia. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, pretty much anywhere you grind in Valencia is going to net you pretty good money at this point, okay? The highlight spots that I'd recommend is obviously going to be Sulfur Mines is really good, but it's usually pretty crowded. Another place I really liked was Kadri's. Centaurs is really good depending on your class, so you just kind of have to go there and test it out yourself to see whether or not you like grinding there with your class. But it is kind of class dependent on what's efficient there or not. But those are kind of like the highlights, and then there's History and Archmans. Now, I'll leave you a link on how to get to History and Archmans. I personally grind in History. That's where I like to grind. But again, it's up to you where you want to grind. But let me guys give you tips in terms of what buffs you want to maximize your efficiency. So on PC, when you're grinding these areas, any of the low end, so I say these areas, any area that's not History or Archmans, but in Valencia, so if you're grinding Kadris, if you're grinding Centaurs, what is this, Nagas, Fogans, Sulfur Mine, Pilaku, Garhas, any of these kind of regions, Crescents, what have we got, Warrigans, Bashams, that's pretty much all of them now. You're going to be either grinding with 2 levels active on your loot scroll, or 1 level active on your loot scroll with Agris Fever on. You never want to grind with Agris Fever on level 2 loot scroll. This will make 0 difference to your money per hour. And you never want to grind with just level 1 active loot scroll, because this will make 0 difference in your trash per hour. It will increase your item drop rate a little bit, so you got more chance of getting rare items, but you'll get 0 extra trash for this, so it's definitely not worth doing. So again, that's either level 2 loot scroll active by its own, or a level 1 loot scroll active with Agris. Translation for console, that's Agris and blue loot scroll, or yellow loot scroll. Alright, so now let's talk about the gearing and what you want to prioritize. For Awakened players, take your Dandy to Reform level 5 and get it to Pen. For Succession players, get your Kazaka to Reform level 5 and then get it to Pen, the Jatina quest line. I'll show you guys, if you're as a Succession player's perspective, how you'd be gearing. It's exactly the same as Awakening. Nothing's going to be different, except a couple of Catherine levels here or there will be slightly different, and I'll point those out when we get to them. So, you got your Pen Kazaka. Now it's the annoying journal grind. It took me 4 days to grind out all my AP journals, but I can tell you it was a long 4 days. The very first thing, PC players here, you want to start your Barrier Infestation quest line as soon as possible now, because it's going to be hard capped. It's going to take you 4 to 5 weeks to be able to complete this fully. Get your gear, get your guild mates to help you with this. You're not going to be able to solo it with the current gear that you have. But as console players, obviously, you don't have this at the minute, so don't worry about it. Now, first travel log, Igor Bartali. Next travel log, Doran Morgan. Final travel log, Thieves Encyclopedia. Links in the description down below on how to get all these travel logs complete. But one thing is your Kazaka, you're now going to want to take this to Kafra level 1 so you can get the 261 bracket. For Awakened players, you already got the... I should do it like this. You've already got 262 AP here because you have a couple more AP on a Dandelion than you do a Kazaka. So you wouldn't need to do any extra Kaffering here. But right now, at this point, when you have these artifacts on PC, depending on your grind class, some classes might have a bit more trouble. You're going to be able to access endgame grind zones. I will go over those grind zones for PC players. I'll go over the grind zones for console players. But first, let me give you guys some tips on a couple of these issues that I had when completing these travel logs. And also, links in the description down below on how to obviously complete all these travel logs beginning to end. Alright, so for Thieves Encyclopedia, there is a really annoying part where your character is going to need Trading Skilled 5. Now, there is other ways to do this that's more efficient, but it requires setup. The way I did it, which requires no setup, is I came here to Velia on my Shy. I connected the Velia node to the Heidel node. One of the videos that shows you what to do in the journals will show you how to connect nodes. So if you're not sure watching it now, don't worry. Once you get to that part of your progression, you will know how to connect them. All I'll do is I'll come here and I'd buy trade items until I'm pretty much almost encumbered. Well, I'm pretty much almost encumbered here. And then I'll make my way to Heidel. I'll trade these items in at Heidel. And then I'll buy trade items at Heidel, bring them back to Velia, and I'll trade them in at Velia. I bought a +1 silver embroidered clothes. You get some light spirit stones from grinding poly, so I equipped and turned this on. And I ate a seafood crumb meal. All this stuff gives you a little bit more carry weight / EXP for life skills. I also had an actual life skill EXP scroll, which I popped as well. Alright, so you'll come to this trade manager here. Now, if you go to my stats, you can see 1.48%. Go to trade, sell them. My stats jump to 61.77%. It's going to go a lot faster at the beginning. Once you get skilled, it does start slowing down. First couple of trips, you're just going to be getting a bunch of levels. And then as you get more levels, just slow down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then you'll come to this trade manager, you'll buy some items from this person until again, oh, we forgot to buy the items. So you'd buy some items from this person like this until, wow, I'm a little bit too encumbered. This does happen sometimes. Just drop items until you're no longer encumbered like that. And then you're going to go back to Velia. This does take quite a long time. It took me like 3-4 hours to do. Put on some Netflix, get on some YouTube, and just be semi-AFK getting this done. It is annoying, but it has to get done, so get it done. Okay, so a couple more tips for doing the Thieves Encyclopedia, which is the most annoying one. Some issues I had that I can help you on now is one of the quests or one of the journal parts is for you to get a bunch of different flowers. You can get quite a few of them from the central market, but the ones that aren't available or might not be available when you do it is the roses. For the roses, come to Northern Wheat Plantation. Lots of roses all around here. Next to fences is little red flowers. You can't miss them. They're all over the place. So get some roses from Northern Wheat Plantation. Then get your butt all the way down to Navan Steppe. All around Navan Steppe, there's different types of flowers. You got yellow, sky blue, blue, purple, or violet, whatever it is. Lots of different flowers here. So between these two locations and what's available on the central market, you'll easily get all the flowers that you need. And the final part that's really annoying is, well, the final two parts that are really annoying. One, pardon me, is you'll need to connect Olvia to Florin. So go from Wales Farm, Termian Cliff, Florin Gateway, Mark Owl's Forest, and Florin. Once you get to Florin, Florin 1-3, unlock the Tier 1 workshop. If you're confused, don't worry about it. As you're watching all these videos I'm listing, going through all the points that I'm telling you to do, it literally shows you how to do everything I'm showing you now. So when you get to this point, you will have the knowledge on how to craft these items. So, tin ingots, rough translucent crystals, blackstone powder. Buy all these from the central market. They're jam-packed, they're never going to run out. Easy peasy. Melted silver shards, though, that's going to be more difficult. You're going to jump on your Shy, you're going to get your Shy's butt all the way to Sangrein Bazaar, and then get over to Pilgrim's Haven. Really nice area to grind silver in Pilgrim's Haven. The only thing you're going to need to buy is, if you come to the central market, you come down to Life Tools, come down to Pickaxe. You can get Magic Pickaxe, you can get any of these pickaxes, Steel Pickaxe. It doesn't really matter. Get one of these pickaxes here for your Shy. Your Shy's already got Gathering level Professional, so you can equip any of these axes, and then start hacking away at the rocks there to get your silver. Once you've got your silver, come to Life, Processing, Heating, and heat the silver to get the melted silver shards. And then you can craft that mirror. Now, I'll also link a guide about Pilgrim's Haven guide. So it will show you how to get there exactly and how to hit all the stones and get what you need. So if you're a little bit confused, that'll help you out there. But it's not too difficult, so you should be able to crack this one out pretty easily. Now, the last one, I used an Altanova workshop. I used Altanova Siege Weapon Workshop 5.7. You take it to level 2. And then you're going to need to craft a flame trap, a venom trap, an ankle trap, and a stun trap. I bought all of these items from the CM, whacked it into the storage, and crafted one of each of these because, again, you can't buy these from the central market. Again, everything listed is in the central, everything listed you can find in the central market. If you're having issue with herbal poison, I'll link a video down below of where you can find it. But just to quickly show you, it's at Hex Sanctuary, which should be around here. So Hex Sanctuary, there'll be this herbivore plants, these little green plants that eat like flies and stuff. I mean, they're not very big, but if you're looking for them, you can't miss them. And you can just use a fluid collector to get what you need from that one. Okay, so now let's discuss where you're going to be grinding now that you're 261 Kutum and 310 DP. Valencia is still completely viable and a really good grind spot, so feel free to grind in Valencia whenever you want. Console players, you're going to be coming to Star's End, and this is going to be your main home for now. And PC players, I'd recommend you guys also come to Star's End for a little bit here to get comfortable grinding on your class. Star's End is the best place to learn how to grind properly. The mobs do have some bite, so they're going to do a little bit of damage whilst you're grinding, so you're going to learn how to move around the mobs, and you're going to have to learn a good skill rotation. So if you haven't already, watch a PvE guide for your class and spec, and then also watch a video of someone grinding Star's End, so you can mimic what they're doing to try and get their trash numbers. So those are my recommendations at the minute. Once you get comfortable grinding here, let's talk about changing your crystal build, and then we can access some more endgame grind spots. Okay, so now we're going to discuss about upgrading your crystals so you're a bit more efficient in PvE. Now, there's an important concept in the game called AP brackets. I'll have a link in the description down below to try and explain it to you better than I can. Basically, what AP brackets is, once you get to a certain amount of AP, you get more AP that's hidden. So once you hit 261 AP, like we got 261 AP here, we actually get an extra 101 hidden AP added to our damage. Now, if we were in Awakening stance and using an Awakening weapon at 254 AP, you can see we only got 69 AP difference. So by being in Succession, we're doing a lot more damage than if we were in Awakening. So that's basically what it is, but there'll be a guide listed down below to explain it better than I have there. And that's kind of what's guiding me in terms of upgrades. So when you're like, why is he stopping at this specific AP? Why should I cap for it to get one more AP? That's why. It's to hit these certain hidden brackets within the game. But let's talk about your crystal build. So, once you're comfortable with grinding, put Hooms in your helmet, put Hooms in your chest piece. You want to put Jin Vipers in your gloves. You want to put Corrupt Magic Crystals in your offhand. You want to put Elcars in your main hand, and you want to keep those juicy Adamantimes in your boots. And again, PC players, remember, you've got this. You're not upgrading this at this point. But now we can access Elvia, and we can access Sakraya. But I will say, it might be a bit harder to do for a new player that's not as experienced. Slash, you might not have the best class in terms of grinding, if depending on your class. So one thing you can do, if you're not sure whether or not you can grind these areas, we can get some upgrades. You can stay in Star's End for now and the Valencia areas, and you can get some upgrades. Your next upgrade is either going to be a Tech Crescent Ring, or it's going to be a Tech Bassi Belt. Currently, when I'm playing the game right now on EU, a Tech Bassi Belt is cheaper than a Tech Crescent Ring. So that's what I would buy at this point if I was in the gearing stage. But check your central markets. See which of the two is cheaper. See if it's cheaper to buy a Tech Crescent Ring or if it's cheaper to buy a Tech Bassi Belt, and then buy the cheapest one. Let me just take this to try for now. Or in case people get confused, I'll keep the Tavala there. Okay, so with 264 AP, with 1 AP off a bracket, so take a Gazaka to C3. You're now definitely ready for Elvia at this point. If you are an Awakened player, you actually don't need to Caphra your Dandy at all, because you'd already have the 265 AP with a base Pen Dandy. So do keep that in mind. You only need to Caphra level 3 if you're a Succession player. But now that we can access those better grind spots, let me show them to you in the game. And this is exclusive to PC at this point. Sorry, console players, you're stuck at Star's End for now. But PC, this is where you can now start grinding. All right, so let's talk about the Elvia spots you're going to be grinding in. You can access now Elvia Fogans, Elvia Nagas, Elvia Bagari Den, and Elvia, Castle Runes. If you get 2 other people, because this is a 3-man spot that's AP capped. These are all really good spots, equally good as each other. I haven't really noticed one being better than the other. And I've enjoyed Swamp Fogans, just mechanically I've enjoyed it. But like I said, they're all equally as good. So see what you mechanically enjoy a bit more. Now, you can actually access Orc Camps, especially if you're playing something like a Striker. You're pretty efficient at Orc Camps. I've tried. Julfa spotted all the time. I've got the AP that I'm recommending to you guys now. As you can see, I'm 265, 310. It's not... You will get Julfa spotted. You're not going to be able to kill anyone that Julfa spots you, and they're going to 1 to 2 shot you standing up. So the most I've spent here is 40 minutes uninterrupted. The amount of interruptions that you get is just not worth. So don't be grinding here for now. But in the near future, for PC players, you're going to be getting access to private grind spots for 1 hour a day. So when you have that 1 hour a day private grind spot, you definitely want to be doing Orc Camp, especially at 265 AP. I'm finding it a bit difficult to grind Bloody Monastery. I'm going to come back here when I'm 269 AP with some accuracy stuff on, but you're not quite ready for Bloody Monastery yet. Maybe some classes are better than others here. Like Awakened Striker might be good, but Succession Striker, I'm not having that great of a time at Bloody Monastery. Now, Sakraya is also very accessible to you at this point also. My main places I've been grinding is actually Sakraya. I really enjoy the Sakraya grind. It gives you a lot of BMCs and Caphras, which is all useful at this point in your progression path. And you got some rare drops here as well. That's kind of nice. And it gives the best EXP out of all the grind spots that I've just mentioned. And I do want to get to 62. But that being said, currently there's a drop rate event. So on PC, there's a drop rate event. And there's a bunch of Supreme Old Moon Scrolls in the loyalty store. When you have access to extra grind buffs like Supreme Old Moon Scrolls, like the drop rate event, it's actually really good to spend your time in Star's End because you'll have higher chance of getting those distos. And once you get 2 disto drops in Star's End, there's no other grind spot that you currently have access to that can compete with that money per hour. But Star's End is heavily RNG dependent. And when you don't get any disto drops, any of the other grind spots is significantly better than Star's End. So when there is no drop rate buffs available and you have no extra scrolls, I probably wouldn't recommend Star's End being the place you want to grind. And just make sure you connect the node and level it up. So whenever you do grind here, you got more chance of getting drops. So as you see, my node is level 5. Once you connect it to a major town or city, if you go to node management, you can invest energy. The maximum it goes to is 10, and the higher the number, the better your drop rate is in the area that you're grinding. So when you got the extra drop rate stuff, Star's End is where you want to be. If not, any of the Elvia spots or Sakraya might be a good idea to spend more time in Sakraya until you hit 62, and then you can come back here and grind in Elvia. And why do you want to hit 62, you might be asking? Well, if we come down to our skills tab, we can see here that once we hit 62, we get 1% special attack damage, which is pretty significant in PvE and helpful in PvP also. Guys, that's the end of my part 2 guide. In the part 3 guide, we're going to be talking about the further gear progression, what items you're going to be prioritizing for DR or evasion, and then we're going to discuss the super endgame grind spots and some Lightstones as well. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.